Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. Being round three, we are going to look at the great number threes, the biggest round three moments and some of the three-peats. I want to touch on how good the number three jumper has been. These are the players that miss out on some highlights today. Michael Voss, Dick Reynolds, Chris Grant, Jimmy Bartel and Gary Lyon. But we're going to start with the best of all, the greatest player of all time, and that's Lee Matthews. Let's take a look at some of Lethal's highlights. So, when you think about it, he was a midfielder, but obviously went forward late in his career. But he's kicked 918 goals, Lee Matthews, and just won 8 best and fairest.
One run was like you, Llordo, on the all-time goal-kicking list.
I know, but I was a full forward. This guy was an actual midfield small forward, as tough as they come, as skillful as they come. And as I said, just an all-time great, and no wonder what they won so many
76 or 77. You go and have a look at his stats of what he did for the year, and you look at the stats and you think, how did he not win the Brownlow medal that year?
Oh, exactly, Brownie. And I just want to touch on this one day. So in round three, this very special day, no vision of it, 1973 v Essendon at Waverley Park. It was Easter Monday, I believe. 38 kicks, 3 handballs, 9 marks, 11 goals, 3. Some say the greatest individual day a player ever had.
And won a Coleman as a rover.
Yeah. Who we got next?
OK, Ted Whitten wore the number 3 with distinction, as everyone has, and there he is, the great man. Played 321 games for the Footscray Football Club. He was born in Altona. He was West through and through. There he is for that game number 321 and his last one. Actually coached the Doggies too for 228 games. It was a remarkable period. His service to that football club in good times and in bad times was just remarkable. And of course, what he did post-football career was just as outstanding. He was one of the greatest ambassadors the game has ever had, and what he did also for the Big V in keeping it alive was phenomenal. We lost him far too early at the age of 62 after his battle with cancer, and I still say that that lap of honour in 1995 at the MCG is the most poignant moment at that ground.
Yeah. Speaking with number threes, West Coast wore number 3, Chris Judd. One of the more extraordinary careers from his very first game of the 2001 season, 2002 season, when he dominated for West Coast at the MCG. Never got dropped after that, and this particular game was the arrival where we blew the then champion Brisbane Lions team away with 5 goals in that particular sunny Sunday afternoon, and he announced himself that day and then won 1 Brownlow at that particular footy club in his 3rd season only of football, and then won another one when he went to Carlton as well, where he suffered from not having the teammates around him to get him back up the ladder, but one of the all-time great
Could watch Judd highlights all day long because of that explosive speed. And speaking of that speed, what about this in round 3, 2011, Patrick Dangerfield? So they're in a bit of trouble here against the Fremantle Dockers, and the burst speed, you can see he's a bit lighter at this stage early in his career than he is now, but just that dynamic road runner type speed from Dangerfield, one of the great goals.
He wasn't number 3
moment. But it was a round 3 moment.
Look at that. He was just freakish. Great draft pick from Adelaide and a terrific recruit from Geelong. Clearly now skipper, and he'll be in action again today under a little bit of pressure. Couldn't not have our man Matthew Lloyd in when he kicked 13 in round 3 against the Sydney Swans at the MCG. There's Luffy.
Who'd you kick most of them on?
Luffy. He didn't know what to do, Brownie.
Dunks.
Bit of dunks involved in there. Now,
Leo Barry then?
The thing about this is Essendon's record is 14, and it has come to my attention that Llordo knew about the record and Darren Buick just refused to pass him the ball to get him to 14 to take over from John Coleman's record at the Bombers, and Llordo missed a couple late, but this sort of stuff, what a freak out, man.
How old were you there?
What's that, 1999, so I was 21.
21.
Was there an
About
offer that came
21.
post this game, Llordo, from Sydney to try and get you there?
It was, I think, Lockett was retiring at the end of the year, and I did receive a message or a call from Ricky Nixon saying they want you to be the man up in Sydney for the next 5, 6, 7 years, as long as you want. But I was too happy at the club and living around.
Was there a temptation?
I actually didn't ever want to receive the money offer or hear about the money offer because of how entrenched I was at the Bombers.
But how much more was it that you were getting at Essendon? Like,
it would have been a lot more, yeah.
Double?
Probably double to go.
Loves his money too.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of Essendon, a round 3 game, James Hurd. Everybody remembers this against West Coast Eagles, where at the end of the game, takes the ball, goes into the pocket, kicks the winner, and then celebrates with the crowd. So scores a level here into James Hurd.
I love this.
Snap. And then he goes over to the crowd, very happy. And that man there is very happy as well. Look at the Bomber supporters. And what a great player he was.
He had a huge week that week, James Hurd.
That was a $20,000 fine,
It was. Yeah, he said something on the Footy Show. Just
Scotty McLaren.
Scotty McLaren, and got himself in a lot of truth. Speaking of Footy Show, well, Carlton in round 3 of a season wore this horrendous jumper. We touched on jumpers early on. This was a deal they did with Eminem. So they had the M&Ms there and they wore that jumper. A few moments, there's Kuda obviously kicking a goal, and we'll see.
Still look good on Kuda.
Aaron Hamill takes a big grab. But during the week on the Footy Show, Sam Newman in the lead-up, they had an M&M, he just tackled it. And watch what happens to the M&M afterwards. I was sitting on this panel, didn't know what was going on. Sam said they were an aphrodisiac, these M&M. That's what came of the M&M. There's a me, deer in the headlights there. I was sitting on that Footy Show there, but a funny, funny moment. The next one we're going to move to is the other great threes, the three-peat side. So obviously Melbourne, Damo, 55 to 57, won 3 in a row. Brisbane, 01 to 03.
Yep, and Hawthorn then 13 to 15. And like Brisbane, they also made 4 consecutive grand finals in their era. That's the Melbourne venue there. But this was the big win that they had against Collingwood, the second against Collingwood, the third in the row of the three-peats of that particular one. Well, I'll stick with the grand final theme when I talk about the great three-peats. Obviously, Richmond had 2017, 19 and 20 had premierships, but that man there winning the Norm Smith medal on each of those occasions, Dusty Martin, 2017, 19, and then...
That never happen again.
No, that'll never happen again.
Never
I mean, we saw Andrew McLeod do it 2 years in a row, but to then add a third one to it, and I think he got better in each of those grand finals. That third one in 2020 was his probably most commanding for.
Going to be tough to win 3 Brownlows as well. There's 4 people that have done that. Hayden Bunton Sr., Dick Reynolds, Bob Skilton and Ian Stewart are the 4 players that have won 3 Brownlow medals. And there we are, TJ, with some of those highlights.
Good again, Llordo. Well done.
Llordo, outstanding stuff. That's why it's the most popular segment here on the Sunday Footy Show.